Welcome into this final spring semester edition of VU Sports Wired, Vanderbilt Video Productions' premier sports talk show. My name is Bobby Kent, a Vanderbilt Hustler senior staff writer, and I am your host. I am joined by Jonah Barbin, Hustler sports copy editor. On this week's show, we will talk about Vanderbilt women's bowling's national championship victory, the fourth-ranked Vandy boys' strong season so far, as well as recent activity in the men's basketball transfer portal. We start with bowling, where the Commodores captured their third national title in program history with a come-from-behind win in their best-of-7 series versus Arkansas State. They found themselves down 3-1 and did not give up. The win gives Vanderbilt its sixth national championship in school history, and bowling now has more than any other sport. For reference, baseball has 2, and women's tennis has 1. So Jonah, thoughts on this stunning bowling victory?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, this is what you set out to do. We talk so much about how can a program improve. They're going in the right direction. This team went out and won a national championship. So, our deepest congratulations to everybody part of that program. Really amazing what John Williamson has done with them. Now 3 championships in his time. And you said he started out as an assistant in Tim Corbin's program.
Yeah, 2003, 2004, he was on the staff.
Which I couldn't believe when you dropped that on me. And now he goes to the bowling team, completely transforms the culture, wins 3 national titles with the team. Mabel Cummins, really one of the stories of the year, the national player of the year. And Vanderbilt bowling has been an exemplary program now for over a decade. So, I mean, a big congratulations to them and a great look for the school and their third national championship. That puts them ahead of baseball.
Yeah, no, I was saying to him before the show, I was like, I would not have predicted that the national title that I would see when I was at Vanderbilt would be bowling. And, I mean, congratulations to them. That's huge. It was really exciting, too, to watch. Like, I found myself putting on the stream on ESPNU, and everything was so back and forth and, picking up spares and strikes and just absolutely fantastic. It was really great to see, and I was really happy for the program, and I echo everything that you said. So now, from the lanes to the diamond, where the fourth-ranked Vandy boys have been really hot this year, amassing a record of 29-8 and 13-2 in conference to lead the SEC East. They have yet to drop a series this season and are coming off an impressive series win over number 6 ranked South Carolina. Next, they travel to Knoxville to take on the dreaded Vols, who are struggling at 5-10 in the SEC. So, Jonah, what has impressed you about the team so far?
Well, it had to be last weekend, Bobby. There was a big sentiment and a ridiculous sentiment in my mind that Vanderbilt may be 4th in the nation and they're winning a lot of games, but they haven't had a tough series yet. Well, enter the number 6 Gamecocks. They came to Nashville. Vanderbilt was in command in that first game. Things got away from them. Suddenly they lose, I think, 14-8. Yeah. And then you're starting to think, could this be the first series loss? Could this be a series sweep? And could what the haters be saying about Vanderbilt's strength of schedule have some weight to it, right? But then you see the bounce back on Saturday, right? And a really strong win on Sunday. They get another series win. The offense just looks incredible. Everybody's swinging the bat really well throughout that lineup, right? Pitching's coming around, few injuries here and there, right? But I feel really confident. When I hear the way Corbin's talking about this team, I can tell it's special. The only concerning thing, and I don't mean to throw too much out there in one thought, but the Indiana State loss.
Yeah.
We knew they were a tough program. They're always a perennially really strong program, but a 10-2 loss in the midweek, a bit demoralizing going into this Vols series.
Yeah, I don't take too much stock into that game. I think if you're going to be in any situation, you want to be in this situation where you've steamrolled so far in the SEC and then you happen to have a bad midweek game. And also, it was with freshman pitching, a lot of guys that aren't really going to be out there in the big moments. What is concerning to me is the bat's not getting going and only mustering up 2 runs, and a lot of them late after it was 9-0, they were out of the game. So, I'm a little concerned about that, but I think this is a blip, and if anything, it'll really motivate this team to go into Knoxville and just take what's theirs. But they have been really strong overall so far, and I do want to ask you too, how does Vanderbilt keep up this momentum and take this series from the Vols in Knoxville?
They need it. They need it so bad, Bobby. And what I'm hearing from so many people is this is the series for Tennessee. And I'm not sure if that's just Vanderbilt fans buying into the rivalry, but especially in a season where, Corbin and Vitello, right? This was a rivalry that was really like put on the stage last year with how good Tennessee was, right? And everybody's saying with Tennessee's struggles, this feels like essentially a World Series to them. This is a great kind of litmus test. This is a great way to turn around their season. And if they could have Vanderbilt come into Knoxville and sweep them, I mean, that'd be such an adrenaline boost for Tennessee. So I think it matters so much to them. And on Vanderbilt's side, it's important too. Like I said, you're coming off the midweek loss, could be a blip, right? But you definitely don't want to let that start spiraling. Also, you just had that great series win, comeback series win against the Gamecocks. You can't let things start unraveling now. This is the point of the season, Bobby, where the real teams in college baseball really show themselves, right? Because you're coming out of the gate, and sure, there's adrenaline on the other side when you start talking about regional games. But right now, in the middle of the season, this is what I would call the dog days of the season. This is where you need to step up and find that extra level. And I think the Vanderbilt Commodores should have no problem finding that extra level because they're playing against Tennessee.
Yeah, no, and that's all the motivation you need, right? I mean, I would really love to see Carter Holton get right. I mean, didn't start on Friday. There were a little bit of questions of, is he injured? Is he, Corbin said he's okay. We didn't get a lot of information. He ends up starting, and then he lets up 4 runs and gets pulled before he even completes an inning. So Corbin says he's fully healthy, so I would love to see him have a really strong outing against them. And also Hunter Owen, too. Hunter Owen didn't play because of fatigue issues, so we'd love to see him get on track as well, because when those two are on, Vanderbilt is really, really hard to beat. But I also want to give a shout out to RJ Schreck, too. He's been absolutely massive. We profiled him on the Hustler. If you haven't read that, go check it out. He has been huge for them with power-wise, defense, everything. That's really that complementary piece that Vanderbilt was kind of missing last year. So I think they've got it, like you said, this is a big series for them, but you kind of not make it too big as well. So, if you drop a game, okay, that happens. You got to move forward. So looking ahead, though, what are your expectations for the rest of the year?
I think to tie the bowling team, Bobby. I think that's what has to happen here. Like I said, this is the most confident squad I've seen in a while, right? And they look very complete. Like you said, I have concerns. We need Carter Holton back on track. Hunter Owen, when you're out with a game for fatigue, like you never know what that means. Does that mean there's a lingering injury or is it actually just fatigue? So something like that, you want more clarity on that. But with those top guys at the top of the order, Futrell, right, all those guys kind of firing on all cylinders, right, and Futrell pitched pretty well against South Carolina the other day. Plus, right, the bats of R.J. Schreck, right, Davis Diaz, Enrique Bradfield swinging it really well right now. Right, you got guys like Chris Maldonado,
Nolan,
right?
Bolger,
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So, I think this is a very complete Commodore squad, really top to bottom, and behind Corbin and the experience that this program has, I really think this season at this point is a disappointment if they don't go out and at least make the national championship.
I would have to agree with you on that. But I would back it up a little bit and say a trip to Omaha to me would be a very successful cap to this season. I would love to see them get the national title as well. But there are a lot of other really strong teams as well. I mean, LSU looks incredible right now.
Really good.
Dylan Cruz, Paul Skeen is pitching. I mean, that team is really going to be hard to beat. So, but I would love to see a trip to Omaha. I think that's 100% attainable. I think they can potentially get to the final weekend, which would be really exciting. And you know what? Who knows? If luck goes their way, they could win the whole thing, and that would be really exciting. But this team has continued to impress me, and I think they will the whole rest of the season. So we're going to close with men's basketball, where Vanderbilt has seen multiple players enter the portal, most recently QMB. Former Commodores Jordan Wright and Miles Studi have found new homes at LSU and South Carolina, respectively. Vanderbilt has gotten a transfer in Lehigh graduate wing Evan Taylor. They also got 2 other commits to the 2023 class from Jaquan Roberts and Jason Riviera Torres. So, Jonah, what are our thoughts about how this roster is coming together sitting here in April?
First of all, love the transfer news out of Lehigh that Evan Taylor is coming here. 4-year great player at Lehigh. Last year averaged 14.5 points a game. Notably shot about 45% from beyond the arc, which, is ridiculous, right? So to add a player like that, we've seen what kind of a senior presence can do when you transfer him in, right? Ezra Magnon last year, right? And I think that's so invaluable, right? Both from a talent standpoint and from an experience standpoint, leadership standpoint as well. So Evan Taylor, really happy about that. And I'm told, just through the grapevine, through the rumblings, that kind of this week will be where we keep hearing about kind of the transfers that Stack's bringing in. And honestly, everybody's saying, wow, look at this like mass exodus of everybody leaving this program, right? But I don't see it that way. You look at the guys who are leaving the program, and while they're good players, I didn't think they necessarily had a place in the lineup next year, right? Stackhouse has post-season interviews with everybody, kind of an exit interview, where they map out partly what will it look like next year if you're on this team. Mm-hmm. And if you hear from your coach, there's not really a look next year if you're on this team. Obviously, people are going to start to transfer. Do I think that's perhaps what was said to Studi? Perhaps, maybe not Jordan Wright. But, people decided to move on. And I think the Commodores really retained the important names of Tyron Lawrence, should he probably just be testing the draft pool, right? Colin Smith, Paul Lewis, right? The important names are staying right now. Now, my number one concern at this point is what's going to happen at the big man position.
That's
right?
fair.
Malik D is out. QMB's out. So right now your only big man is Lee Dort, right? Who has not played a lot of minutes in college
And you've got
basketball.
freshman Carter Lang coming in, but he's going to be raw.
Right, he's going to be raw. So you need some presence who has eaten up minutes in college basketball. And I would be, in fact, flabbergasted if one of the guys that Stackhouse is bringing in is not a center.
Yeah, no, you need a guy who can get 20 to 25 minutes a game, can make the easy ones, can defend and rebound, right? That's really all you ask for. Vanderbilt's been linked to a lot of guys. I'm in the portal. Unfortunately, we didn't get a few of them, to sort of come to West End. But, I think Stackhouse is out there. I feel like I see every time that I see a recruit or something, some news on Twitter, it's like he's heard from, like every school in the country. It feels like Vanderbilt's name is on there. So,
it's on there.
Vanderbilt's getting themselves out there. They got a lot to sell. So I think it's going to be an exciting rest of the offseason for them. Has it concerned me a little bit? Sure, but we're hitting here in April, right? And the season doesn't even start till November, December. So I don't think there's a reason to panic right now. And I think this team, if they get a center and they get Tyron to come back, I think they'd be a tournament team 100%. So,
yeah, I agree. Again, they've improved every year under Stackhouse, right? I could only see Tyron Lawrence getting better, only see Colin Smith getting better, only see Paul Lewis getting better. Ezra, now you got Evan Taylor, right? You have a pretty good core right there. Now it's about kind of filling in the pieces and, like you said, making sure that you have for these raw freshmen, you have that experience, not only to help the team this year, but to help grow these guys into the future leaders of the Commodores. But I'm not really panicked about where the program is right now. I know there's a lot of rumors going on, right? Does Stackhouse go to the Pistons? All stuff like that. I expect Jerry Stackhouse to be coaching this team next year and for them to, again, be contending to sneak into that March Madness tournament.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. This was my last episode ever, and I want to thank some special people. First is Grayson, who's also a senior and has been our producer for 4 years now. She makes the entire operation run behind the scenes, and we couldn't do it without her. So thank you so much for everything, Grayson.
Of course, I've, sat in that control room for 4 years, but I think that Vandy Athletics is a lot better off now than when I started, and whoever takes over the job will have a lot more success to listen to rather than just no football wins, like bad basketball season, I have hope for the future.
Yeah, no, Grayson's put together every one of the clips that we've had on the show and has made it look so seamless and professional. So, yeah, thank you so much for everything.
Of course.
I also want to thank Mike Schneider, Simon Gibbs, Justin Hershey, guys who have done this show before me and have hosted it before me, have sort of been the inspiration for why I've done it, and have provided me so much guidance and everything. So I think thank you. And also, thank you, Jonah, for doing it this year with me.
Thank you, guys. This has been amazing.
Yeah.
It's in good hands.
Yeah, it's in very good hands next year with Jonah. You'll have some great analysis to listen to next year. So that'll do it for this last episode of VU Sports Wired. Thank you for watching.